Hello, welcome back to Western Kabuki, and it is a solemn day. We have gotten some horrible news, horrible, tragic, the worst news. Dennis Prager, also known as Penis Prager, he is in the hospital. He is not doing so well. The man himself, he is maybe suffering, maybe a heart attack. I don't quite know what it is, but he's in the hospital. It's very sad. Alex, how do you feel about Penis Prager being in the hospital?
Honestly, I thought he was dead like 10 years ago, so it's a shock to me that this is coming up at all.
Yeah, no, he is one of those people that is like, he has to be like 102 years old. He's like Jimmy Carter level of age at this point. It's wild he's still out there and kicking. And with us today to mourn the potential loss of Dennis Prager, we have Tall Bart.
Hello.
A comedy editor and YouTuber. How do you feel?
I would say Dennis Prager's maybe number one supporter.
Yes, number one fan even. Yeah. Me and my community, we're praying. Not for him, but we're praying.
You're about to energy bomb something towards him.
Yes, we are focusing our chakras towards some end, undefined. But I don't know. I think that it's sort of ironic. Like it's apparently a back injury, and he does the fireside chat, and eventually he's going to be looking like FDR. You know what I mean? I think that's a pretty dark joke. I'm sorry to start off the podcast that way.
No, that's great.
You're
no,
right.
I mean, you know him, I feel like, better than most people, because you, correct me if I'm wrong, but you like still to this day, like you're basically like knowledge fight to like what is knowledge fight to InfoWars? You are like you are that, but to Dennis Prager, right?
Dennis Prager specifically. Yeah, because and he has seen my content as far as I know.
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah.
How do you know that he's seen? So for anybody who doesn't know, Tall Bart makes edits of Dennis Prager's like fireside chats or his videos to make him sound like, to say obscene
like a
and
crazy
terrible
person.
things, all of which are true at things he believes. But how do you know that he's seen them?
Well, I know that somebody at PragerU saw the videos because they commented on a few on Instagram, thinking that they were fan edits for some reason. Like they didn't understand that it was making fun of them. And so as soon as I found that out, I paid more close attention to the fireside chats, and he got a question on one of his fireside chats. This is the smoking gun. He got a question on one of his fireside chats. How do I let a friend know that they are being manipulated by the media without sounding condescending? That is verbatim what the person asked. And he said, well, there's no way you can say that without sounding condescending. So he had previously praised, apparently, my videos for, and he said, like, cite your sources and stuff in reference to people using his content. And then, then that question happened, and he, like, just fucking he realized that he was being made fun of on camera. I don't remember exactly what fireside chat number it is, but you can see there's a cut that happens after the question is asked, and he comes back with a very different demeanor. And he's like, manipulation, is like, offensive and stuff like that. And they're stealing. I don't know. Like,
That is
but yeah,
wild.
there's no way he can publicly, like, in my mind, admit to this, any of this.
It would be embarrassing.
It would be absolutely embarrassing. Yeah. But there is recorded footage of him doing all this, like there's even a moment where he's shown something on a phone, and he looks up and he says, I forget what word he says, but it was a word that was in the YouTube poop that he just saw. Duty, I think. He was like, duty, you know, after looking at his iPad or his phone or something. I don't know.
What could he possibly have thought was going on?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
All you have to do is like watch one and you like know where you stand on him. Like it's very obvious what you're doing in those videos.
I made fun of his dead dog at one point. Like I feel like I've gone over the line with the guy, honestly. I don't really know how you could confuse the content as anything other than the deepest ridicule. I don't know.
I guess when you get to a certain age, maybe it's like an age thing, or maybe it could be one of those things where right wingers like genuinely don't have that much like comedy. Like they don't really understand humor all that well. Like they just like honestly think you're praising them or praising him somehow. Like I wish I understood how that he could possibly think that, given the topics that you like turn some of these videos into. But I think we all realize a lot of these right wingers are not very smart people. They're maniacal and like evil and manipulating, but they're not very smart in like terms of brain power.
No. And we're gonna get into that today with what we're gonna be talking about, right? But
so we're not talking simply about Dennis Prager, as weird timing as that was, because you are like the Dennis Prager connoisseur. You are like one of the most, like you were an extractor of
unfortunately
his brain.
Unfortunately.
But really what we're going to be talking about today is the like right-wing media like animated sphere that's like kind of popped up recently, but more specifically focused in on the new norm, everyone's favorite new animated political TV, or sorry, not TV show, it's X sitcom is how they build it, if I remember correctly. They were like, it's the first animated X
the
sitcom?
South Park of X.
Oh, so
something.
it's an X exclusive. I didn't realize it was exclusive. That's fascinating.
When they first pitched it, or like when they first started advertising for it, that's how they advertised it. It's like, oh, it's X. It's the first X TV show. It's the first X show for X video.
Do we know who's behind this thing? Who's making it?
Russians. I think it's confirmed, or at least it was a rumor that I heard, was that it's literally made by Russians. As some sort of, I mean, they lampoon that.
So when you say made, do you mean like funded by?
Yes. And I mean, like, I think animated by, I don't know, voiced by, I don't know who voiced these people.
So,
you know?
I do have the voice actors for like the main characters. So Norm, our favorite lovable Norm, is this guy, JP Sears. I don't really know who he is. He's probably some weird content creator. I think I've seen his videos before. I think his main thing is like he pretends to be liberals, like liberal stereotypes, and like freak out in like these like sketch comedy things. Chaz, which I think is the like they them stereotype character, is Dave Rubin. Amazing voice actor.
What?
What?
Yeah, that's Dave Rubin.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
Yeah. And then Charlie, the like black friend of Norm, is Larry Elder, which if you don't know name,
of course it's Larry Elder. Yeah, of course it is. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. One time I think he was running for governor as a Republican in California, right?
I don't know about his history. All I know is that he's worked with Dennis Prager very closely since the 80s or 90s or something.
What did he used to do?
Well, he did a series of not infomercials. What do you call these things? Like informational videotapes where you like teach people. They were big in the 80s and 90s, right? Like at-home workout videos and stuff. But this is an at-home workout video for your morals.
Oh, he was the guy that the guy that they tried to put in after when they tried to repeal or recall Gavin Newsom. They were going to install Larry
that's
Elder.
what it was in 2022.
Yeah, and so he also did that.
Yeah, no, lots of insane shit. Yeah, now what he is left to do is just voice this like really shitty, weird show that's on X with Dave Rubin, his good friend Dave Rubin. I don't really know who funds this. I don't really know who owns this as like a property. But I assume, as the way of the world of the right wing works is they typically have like a very tight, very concentrated pool of funding. Like, how the like Daily Wire world works. They all have like very similar funders and fundraisers. It's like a lot of these like traditional, and maybe Dennis Prager is among these people, but it's like these older, more socially conservative people who are trying to like instill these values, I think, on especially younger people. I think the thing with like the new norm is like they're trying to reach a younger audience, I feel like, right? Like, because like who is this ultimately for? I feel like 70-year-olds are not, and let me be clear, no one is really watching this. No one's watching the new norm as like fans of the show. Everyone who's like kind of watching it hates it and realizes it's bad. But like, I feel like the intention, like a lot of like animated right-wing media, is to just like spread this like liberty, right-wing conservative like worldview, right? Like that's kind of what's happening here, or what was attempted to happen here.
To me, it feels like, you might be a little young for this, June, but do you know the show All in the Family?
I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it though.
So it was this guy, Archie Bunker, and he was a middle-aged racist who had a 30-something son. And the premise of the show was he was like hopelessly stuck in the past and racist and homophobic, and he was always the butt of the joke. Like that was the important part of the thing, is that like in this show, he was always in the wrong, and jokes were made at his expense. And what these guys have done essentially is make an All in the Family where Archie Bunker is the good guy. Archie Bunker, the butt of every joke on the original All in the Family, is now the good guy. It's so bizarre. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it's very fun.
Yeah, it like doesn't work. And throughout this episode, so what we'll do, especially because I think there's only 2 episodes out currently, and they're very short. We're gonna take a listen. We're gonna watch. You guys are gonna listen along with us. You don't really need to see too much. Like there is some insane like visuals that we'll go over maybe a little bit more in detail. But it's mostly like a very flat animation. Most of the frames are just people talking at each other.
It's like Family Guy, but like way
it's very absolutely no, that's a perfect comparison. It's like it's a great value Family Guy with like 0 good jokes. But no, it's kind of insane watching how this became a thing, because like I mentioned, this seems to have tried to be like a world of content. Like they were like, oh, this is gonna blow up. Like when they were advertising this in their like launch advertising, they included like the intro song. So what they originally posted was the very first like intro song, and it was this like very obviously AI generated song. It's like this weird country song. And they had like a little bit of animation kind of like debuting the characters, and to like just nail in the coffin exactly what this kind of show was going to be and how awful it was going to be. They have a line in the song about how much they love Elon Musk, and then Elon Musk, this really shitty looking character design of Elon Musk, like pops into frame and does like a little X jump into frame. And it's like, it's like real bottom of the barrel type nonsense. All ran by all just like the worst content creators of the right wing sphere. So with that context, I think, are you guys ready to watch episode 1?
I've never been more ready.
I guess before we go into this, have either of you watched this before? Either of these episodes?
Yeah, I pooped the first one. It was only 50 seconds worth of content, but like, yeah. I've combed through this first episode like a scientist.
What about you, Alex? Have you watched it yet?
I feel like I've watched the first one. I don't think I've seen the second one.
Oh, the second one is so much worse. I can't wait to get to that one.
Yeah.
It's so. I mean, they're both bad, but Yeah. Here's the first episode of the X exclusive, The New Norm.
Hey guys, Caleb here. This is a preview of an episode that you can find on our Patreon. If you'd like to hear the entire thing, go to patreon.com/Western Kabuki. Thanks so much.